Oh, God. Is this more policy crap we're going to have to anticipate over the next few months until Labour are booted out? Since they realised a couple of years back that they were doomed to lose the next election catastrophically, they've tried to force PC crap down our throats more than ever before. So brace yourselves.
Yes, it is a wonderful prospect, isn't it, mate?
Tosser.
Oh yes, and there's more good news from the financial front, mate. I won't creaming myself under Labour.
Even the likes of the Daily Express now have to admit that the cost of living is starting to fall. The cost of living in Britain has dropped for the first time in 2.5 years, offering a welcome boost to recession-hit consumers. In a rare bout of deflation, shoppers are now paying 0.1% less on average for goods than in August last year, according to figures released yesterday. Fierce discounts on clothes, shoes and electrical goods, combined with falling food inflation, has forced prices to sink and help ease the strain on family budgets. Stephen Robertson, Director General of the British Retail Consortium, which released the figures, said, "Deflation has arrived. Overall, shop prices are cheaper than a year ago for the first time since February 2007.
Yes! We in Labour have done it, mate! I told you to stick with us through the long haul, mate, and well, we're giving you the good times, mate. We're doing it. Listen to me doing a little jig, mate.
Oh, stop hopping up and down like King Kong, you great arse.
But you got to celebrate the fantastic times. I think I put a record on. Oh, bloody hell, I threw away my record player because it was a piece of analogue rubbish. It wasn't digital like the CD player I was always promising myself to buy. If only people in Labour weren't such half-a-job merchants, I'd be able to have a party.
Oh yes, brilliant. The economy's falling through the floor, but it's bounced back just a tiny little bit. Oh yes, now that's a definite profit, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yes, be grateful you haven't lost even more. Vote Labour. Because you've got rational, experienced people in the driving seat, determined to invest Britain's money wisely.
Yeah, because now we've completely been turned into a consumer-based economy, all Gordon Brown can say to the people to try and get the economy jump-starting is, splurge away in the shops. We're going to do the same with taxpayers' money. And indeed they have.
Yes, prudence, that's what it's called, man.
Jesus Christ. The same kind of prudence which dictates that we now need immigrants to provide the bolster needed to keep the economy upright. That's what we're always being told. But that's a bloody sham. And it insults the British people who already live here. And that includes other immigrants, as a matter of fact. Oh, Labour are digging themselves even deeper into a hole. Mass immigration has served the needs of money men and those who benefited from cheap labour. We are still deluged by phony asylum seekers who arrive with lots of health needs and few skills. The EU serves its corrupt MEPs, so they're not going to do much good. The Labour government recently said that to allow a comparatively small number of Gurkhas and their families to settle here, Gurkhas who have fought for this country, would cost the public purse £1.4 billion a year. This after years and years of saying that overall, immigration has produced a net economic benefit. Last year, a House of Commons committee was given a figure of £6 billion per annum profit. What they didn't say was that to address the threat created by one group of immigrants, namely the Muslims, the security budget for MI5 had to be doubled and may have to be increased further.
Yes, but that doesn't cost £6 billion.
Yeah, but the £10 billion in foreign aid that Gordon Brown is dishing away to places like Africa and India does. It exceeds it. It's one thing to want to help other people through charity, but spending beyond your means, that's suicidal. It's only going to leave us poor.
Well, it's only going to leave the taxpayers poor anyway, and well, they're a permanent cash cow always fit for milking, because as we in Labour discovered, no matter how hard we tax the public, there's always a bit more money to be squeezed later. You see, but they start whining because they can't splurge on their own selfish wants, like televisions and freezers and cookers, mate. You think they get their priorities right because there are some people in the world who haven't even had their first cooker yet. Never mind their second or their third, like members of the public want to get, mate.
The government also deny, when they're shown up, although they tacitly admit it to others, that foreign nationals aren't put ahead of British nationals on the housing queue. But Margaret Hodge and other people have pointed this out to be a fraud when they themselves admit it, to much left-wing opprobrium, because they wanted to keep it as quiet as possible. It all boils down to Labour, through incompetence or whatever, spending way beyond the nation's means. And even though, comparatively speaking, we are still going through something of a good time, the effect of that and the benefit of that is greatly diminished by the splurges of people in Labour, believing as they do that to spend more means to invest more, and so therefore it means a more healthy economy. Not necessarily. Not when you spend beyond your means.
You always have to spoil everything, don't you? No, but look at this Labour Party paperwork, which proves you're a bigot. Under the heading, the more money you spend, the better it is. Oh yes, mate, and we say it, so therefore it's right. Because we in Labour work on the principle, which is tried and tested because we've done it for decades, that the more money you spend, the richer you actually are. Oh yes, mate, because only a very, very, very rich nation can afford to quote-unquote waste the vast volumes of cash we chuck down black holes every single year. No poor country could afford it, and we're not poor because we can. We got a lot of cherry-picked figures to prove it, mate.
I'm not interested in government cherry-picked figures. Even people in the city aren't concerned with things like GDP figures anymore because they know they're grotesquely inaccurate, as are the unemployment figures. We've got millions more than is actually stated on the bottom line of these reports. And not to mention the
You don't think I asked for your input, do you? I was talking. And as you know, when somebody in Labour talks, you better damn well listen, mate. Otherwise, well, we're not going to shut up.
We don't want to listen anymore.
Such is the arrogance of people in the bigot community, i.e. the public, when faced with top-quality Labour success and top-quality, unimpeachable Labour facts and figures, mate. Oh yes, just look at our record. Just because people in the new Labour government have done controversial yet healthy things, such as involving this country in unwinnable wars, which the UN say are illegal, denuding British pensioners of their money, giving away British gold, indebting the country for generations. I mean, well, you have to go and get stroppy, don't you? Just because you don't happen to agree with us. I've never known anything so childish. Vote Labour.